If you want a job, you need to network. If you want to switch careers, you need to network. Can't get an interview? You need to network. Network, network, network. We all know that networking is important when you're trying to get a new job. In fact, I have a whole video playlist dedicated just for that. But people ask me all the time, exactly what do you say when you're trying to network with somebody and ask them for a job or for some help? And that's what I'm gonna break down in this video. Now, if you're already friends with this person that you're trying to network with, or if you are pretty comfortable around them, then you can just ask them for help, or ask them to refer you at their company, or ask them to connect you to someone in their network. You don't need me to give you a script or teach you how to talk to somebody that you already know. But what do you say and how do you network with somebody that you know but you haven't talked to in a long time? Which we are all guilty of that. We have probably hundreds of connections on LinkedIn, but most of us have not done a very good job keeping in touch with all of these people. So how do you restart the conversation without being awkward and network? And as a quick disclaimer, this is not a video on how to network with a total stranger. If you want to know how to do that, you should watch this video that I have right here. Now, one very important point I want to make is that I always recommend that you actually start networking with people that you actually know first, as opposed to trying to make friends with somebody online or just adding somebody randomly on LinkedIn. The reason that it's better to network with somebody that you already know, even if they're not at the company that you want or in the target job that you want, it's because this person is more likely to go out of their way to try and help you because they already know you and hopefully they like you. And most importantly, when you're networking with someone you know, they can actually talk about your work and explain why you are a good person that this company should hire, which is much better than trying to have some random person who's never known you to refer you at their company, because they won't be able to talk about your work and why you are so awesome. So you probably have all these people on your LinkedIn network that you haven't done a very good job of keeping in touch with, which you know that you should have. And so how do you actually restart these conversations without it being too awkward and without making them feel like you're just using them for something? Now, I actually recommend you use something called the ACA framework. And this is something that Alex Hormozi talks about a lot in his videos. And I'm actually borrowing it and twisting it a little bit for networking. He uses it a lot for sales techniques, but you can also use this for effective networking.
I use a framework that I call ACA. You acknowledge, compliment, and you ask.
So first, I'm gonna break down and explain what ACA stands for and how to use it, and then I'm gonna walk you through a real life example where I did use this to restart a conversation to help me for my networking. So ACA actually stands for acknowledge, compliment, and ask. And then there's a hidden fourth step, which is to tell them about your situation. So the first A stands for acknowledge, which is what you're gonna use in order to restart or rekindle a conversation with somebody that you know that you're trying to network with. So you're first going to acknowledge something about this person's life. Now, the easiest way to do this is actually to look at their social media accounts, like their Instagram, their Facebook, or what makes it really easy is if you're connected with somebody on LinkedIn, you can talk about something that they've posted, something they've reshared, or if you get a new alert saying that they got a new job or they got a promotion, that's a great way to acknowledge something new about this person and use that information in order to restart a conversation. Now, if you're thinking about some people that you used to work with that you think would be great to have in your network, but you didn't add them on LinkedIn, go ahead and do that right now as your first step. And then once they add you back, you can start looking through their profile. Now, the reason why you want to acknowledge something and make a statement about what this person is doing is to show them that you genuinely care about them as a person and you're following them in their lives and you're invested in them. So they won't feel like it's super awkward and you won't feel like awkward when you need to ask them for a favor. Now, the second step, or the C, stands for compliment, and you're gonna use a compliment after this person has responded back to your initial message, after you've acknowledged something about their life updates. And it's always good to give a compliment immediately afterwards because that's gonna make this person feel good, obviously. And importantly, this is also gonna help you feel less guilty when you're gonna need to ask this person for a favor, which comes in 2 or 3 steps from now. So if you look at these first 2 steps, acknowledge and compliment, this is basically just a really friendly way to restart a conversation with somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Now, the next A stands for ask, because you're gonna be asking a question now that's gonna help you transition away from the topic that you had to acknowledge and start the conversation about and shift the conversation towards something networking related. And when you're networking, you don't only have to be looking to get a referral at a company. You can also be looking for interview advice, or you could be looking for an introduction to somebody else in their network. And so after you've asked the question that helped you transition now towards your networking topic, you're now gonna need to actually tell them something about yourself and your situation. And this is gonna make it feel like a genuine conversation now, because you've initially reached out to them acknowledging something about their life, you're talking about things that they're doing and what they've been up to because you've been following them, and then you're gonna give them a quick little update on yourself and talk about your situation and how you're looking for a job, or you're looking for a career switch or something like that. And then you're gonna need to ask them to connect you with someone else in their network that can help you achieve a certain goal as it relates to networking. Most importantly here, you are not asking this specific person to help you with something. You're going to ask them to introduce you to someone in their network. It's an indirect way of asking for what you want without asking them directly, so you won't feel as guilty, and so this person won't feel like you only really reached out to them for this favor. All right, so that's basically the ACA, T framework that I recommend you use if you want to have a networking conversation and restart a conversation with somebody in your network that you haven't talked to in a while. So now I'm going to walk you through a real example of a time that I used this when I was talking to somebody on LinkedIn as one of my connections. I don't need a job right now, but I might need one day, and this person that I'm networking with is a highly ranking executive in my same function of HR, and I know that they can help me actually get an interview at their company if I ever wanted to work there. Now, to get this conversation actually going, I had seen this person post something on their LinkedIn giving an update on their year, and that's when I noticed that there was a bunch of great information that I could use in here to reach out, acknowledge something that they've said, and restart a conversation. So my goal in this networking conversation right now is to maintain this relationship and plant a seed for later if I do want to ask them for a referral at their company later on. Now, as you can see here, this is a very short and simple example that shows how effective the ACAT framework is if you use it in the right way. And it's honestly not that difficult because LinkedIn and other social media platforms make it so easy for you to reach out and acknowledge something about this person in order to restart a conversation and then guide them towards what you need help with when it comes to networking. So I hope this helps inspire people to reach out into their network, restart conversations, and get the ball rolling so that you can move your career forward and shake things up if you want a new job. And also put down in the comments what other networking videos you want to see so that I can create the content that's most helpful for you.